Hello, Nat. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Even my dog is excited to see
I
you.
know.
You can
I
hear.
love your background.
Thank you. Scrape knees. So, hello, everyone. My name is Kelly, and this interview is being sponsored by Quarter Time Llc. And today I have with me Natalie Carr. Woo! I'm wearing her shirt,
It
which
looks so good.
she made, by the way, and I'm a number one fan. So I have my scraped knees as my background, which is her album cover.
Speaking of shirts I made that are my merch.
I have that one too.
Yeah, yeah, but that one, I mean, that one was like, come on, that was
But this
OG.
one, guys, this shirt sold out at
So
her
fast.
first sold out show in North Carolina. So I literally bought the last shirt that was at the table.
You
So
did?
yes.
I didn't even know that. Oh my God.
Alrighty, so today we have Nat because we're going to be talking about emotional awareness because it is Emotional Awareness Month. So we're going to start off by asking you, Nat, what does emotional awareness mean to you?
So I didn't even know that this had its own dedicated month until you told me. And I was so happy because I think it's something that, like, everyone knows what emotions are, but I feel like we are so used to and so conditioned to muting our emotion and not always having the verbiage to express what we're feeling and communicate them to people around us. And, as obvious as it may be to be like, oh, like, yes, like emotions, happy, sad, excited, like, it's really hard to know, like the nuanced version of those words and to be able to like communicate that to people. And I'm really passionate about that because once you understand your emotions and you're able to communicate them to those around you, your life becomes a lot easier. But it's a never-ending learning process. It's something that's honestly really tricky to do. And I've struggled with it and I'm learning how to get better about it.
Well, that's awesome. I know emotional is something that is a sticky topic
Yeah.
to a lot of people, but you were on the right track. So, according to Google, emotional awareness means knowing when feelings are present in ourselves and in others. So,
Hmm.
before I start asking you some questions, we went ahead first and we went on social media, and you specifically asked your followers and your fans, what does
Yeah.
emotional awareness mean to them? And you got pretty personal with them. So these are some of the responses, and I wanted to share them. So, emotional awareness, it's more than just knowing how you feel, it's about knowing or working it to find out why you're emotional. This is from Jazzy Zach on Instagram. Jesse says, pain is real. Ignoring its existence doesn't make it any less real. She also said, it's okay not to be okay. Note Zart says, I believe being in tune with your emotions and nurturing them right, you can evolve.
Hmm.
And then I'll share one more from the Golden Fleece, Mike. He is our CEO and Natalie's manager. The importance of recognizing social triggers or anything that lends to an unhealthy mindset. Oh, wait, one more. From Drum Smoke, our favorite drummer.
Yes.
The line between reacting and responding, thoughts and feelings. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much for responding, everybody.
Yes, we have a lot more, but if I go through every single one, we're never
Right,
going
right,
to get
right.
through this interview.
But thank you to everyone that responded to that. That was
So,
super helpful. Those were
yes,
fun to
yes, we
read.
care about what people, emotional awareness is also listening to what others have to say and caring about what they have to say, right? It plays uh, a role vice versa, how you feel and how others feel. But Nat, do you consider yourself an emotional person?
I'm so emotional. I am so emotional that when I make a new friendship or relationship, anybody, I warn them. I'm like, I cry
That's so true.
all the time. Like, I cry. You've seen me cry. Like, I cried like the first time I met you. I cried within like 20 minutes of meeting you at my first, it was my first show, so it was emotional, but you were like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just happy. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm like, I cry a few times a week, probably. It's so cathartic and therapeutic. And it used to be something I judged myself for, was being so emotional, but I really don't anymore because I think it's a beautiful thing. I think, developing the language to talk about it with other people and explain to myself what's going on is one of the greatest gifts ever. I like that I'm erratic and I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I'm definitely not ashamed of it anymore. At one point in time I was, but I'm not.
Yes,
Thanks to having conversations like this.
I remember when I first met you too, you were like, I'm a very emotional person, starts crying right away. And I was like, why are you crying?
Why are you crying? Oh my God, there was so much going on.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm personally a very awkward person when it comes to emotions, negative emotions, I would say. Like when someone is sad or
Yeah.
depressed and they come to me, because I find myself to be a very positive person and I'm very optimistic. So when I see someone cry, I get extremely uncomfortable. So the first time I met you, I remember you were like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. I love you so much. Starts crying in my shoulders. And I was like, okay, all right, this is gonna be fun. But I think I
Oh, I
love
love
it
it.
about you because whenever you feel something and whenever you don't like something or whenever you're happy, whenever you're sad, you let it out. And I think that's an important part about being okay with emotions, right? So many people just hold it in and then you become a trigger. So that's not
Right.
always the best. But so we all know you write music. You do a lot of quick writes online, on social media. You share it with us. You're so creative. You're so talented. So when do you feel
Thank
like you write the most? Do you feel like you write the most when you're happy or when you're sad? And when do you feel
you.
like you
Sad.
get the best lyrics out?
I would say sad. I think most writers, songwriters, or any kind of writer, it's easier to write anything when you're revved up, um, angry, sad, fearful. I think when I'm happy, or like when I'm in love, or when something goes really well, that's more difficult for me to process and to put into words. Um, I don't know why. I've always had an affinity for sad music. Like ever since I was a kid, I loved sad music, like sad, sad, sad. Because to me, that meant being emotional is being sad. But really, it's, the whole range and spectrum of emotions. And so I've had to do a lot of work when it comes to writing like love songs and happier songs. It's more of a challenge for me, lyrically. So that's been kind of cool to see my progress on that front. But yes, all of these emotions fuel my writing, and of course, it's easier when I'm like in that state itself, when I'm really in the midst of feeling it, in the throes of it, than when I'm reflecting on it, a week later, months later, a year later. Um, so yeah.
I just think I have this perception that I feel like, um, Anne Frank said this one time. She said, paper is patient, and sometimes it's easier for us to probably write it down on paper and let out how we feel when we're sad versus if you're happy, you could just share happiness with anyone and everyone, right? Versus if you're sad, more than likely you're going to be like, all right, I need to let this out. Let's write some bomb ass lyrics and drop some
Yeah.
music. So that's dope. I mean, Adele made it with a sad ass album. Shout out to her ex who broke her heart. But,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
so I feel that some of your best music has been, when you're sad. These little quick writes that you write when you're like dissing someone, whoever that may be,
Right.
or talking about an ex, or talking about how you feel. Like those are the ones that get more likes on social media, right? If you're happy and you want to write a heartbreak song, what do you think of?
It's a great question. I think about the times I was heartbroken.
If
And
you're,
there's nothing more annoying or inconvenient when you're, feeling good and you're having a good time, but you have to work, you have to finish songs, you have to write lyrics for myself, for other people, and you have to get in that mindset. And it's sometimes frustrating to put yourself back in a sad place when you're not currently feeling it in order to generate lyrics. It's hard to do. Um, but it's never that far away. Because I mean, everyone's had their heart broken. Everyone knows what that feels like. Everyone knows what it feels like to feel so defeated and alone. And so recalling some of those things, it's not, the hardest thing in the world. It's just at times it can be kind of, you don't want to do it, but
Yeah. So do you ever
um,
feel, I guess, guilty in a way? Like, let's say, if you're dating someone or you're talking to someone that you really like, and then you have to dive into these emotions and think about that person who hurt you. Do you ever feel guilty for doing that?
all the time. Yes, the guilt is real because, like you can be in a relationship with someone and even I've had people in my family be like, "What the hell?" And I've been like, "No, no, 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 no." Like I like to tell stories. It's maybe inspired by you, it may not be, but like it's not always just about, we have this way, all of us do, of like hearing something and thinking that's about me, or that person doesn't like me, or that person's talking about me, and it's 9 out of 10 times it's not. But yeah, there's been some awkward moments when like you can date somebody and they're like, why are you still singing about this person? And I'm like, well, because it was just great material, it was you haven't given me anything, so like
That's
truly. But there have been moments like that for sure. The guilt is real. Um, and maybe not even guilt as much as like questioning myself. I'm like, why can't I just write about being happy right now? And I have to talk about all these things that made me mad and made me pissed off years ago, but it's just some of the best material, you
it's
know?
okay, guys. It's not about you. It's not about you.
No, they're not that
So
relevant.
that's so funny. So,
No.
I put on my Instagram, I asked people to ask some questions. So I have a question here from Maria Delgado here from Miami. And she
Hey,
asked,
Maria.
hey, Maria, she asks, what do you listen to when you're sad? Music is my savior. And what's your favorite hype song? So what's your favorite sad song? What's your favorite hype song?
Gosh, there's so many. There's so many, and I think it would depend on genre. But anything Adele, Adele's album.
My
I'm a
girl.
huge Taylor Swift fan. I grew up listening to Taylor Swift like my entire life. So a lot of her I used to say when I was growing up, be like, there's a Taylor Swift song for everything. There's a Taylor Swift song if someone breaks up with you this way, and there's one if they break up with you this way, and you know what I mean? And so I am a huge fan of hers, and some of her lyrics and like they're just so potent and they just get you right, you know what I mean? Like it just feels like God, like if only I could have articulated that because that's exactly how I feel. And she's so gifted and brilliant in that way. And then hype songs, there's so many. There's so many. I don't even know. I love Dua Lipa. I loved her most recent album. I felt like it was definitely like, post breakup, like living your best life. I don't give a fuck, and I truly mean that. That was that album, and I loved that. But yeah, they're endless, and I agree with you, Maria. I think music is everyone's medicine. It just makes you feel something that, conversations can't always elicit, or TV shows, movies can't always elicit. There's something in just being alone in your car listening to a song that it just, God, soul food.
I remember
Yeah.
when I was in middle school and I would just listen to Neo, So Sick of Love Song.
Yeah. Neo!
Like, I didn't even have a boyfriend and I'm like, so
No,
sick. Like, there's
so
music that
sick.
literally will just be like having you crying for no reason and like you're fully happy in your life. But that's the best. Music does touch our emotions, so that's always a good way to figure out your emotions too. So
Yes.
another question that I have here, and this is from JMac. JMac is a co-founder and also one of Natalie's producers. Um, so he asked, what is the best way for someone to come out about their emotional instabilities to their family and friends?
I love that. I think, I think there is an appropriate I want to say threshold for when you reveal things like that to those around you. Um, J Mac and I are so close, and there came a point where like we became close enough that I could reveal to him things I had been through and vice versa. But that took time. That wasn't something we did off the bat. And especially in relationships, there's You know, like at what point do you reveal to them everything that you've been through? Is it relevant? Is it worth sharing? Do you feel like you're sharing it for the right reasons? Those are things that like we grapple with, and there's no right answer. It's when you feel vulnerable and you feel like what you're going to say will be received safely and mirrored, you know, in the person, when you trust a person enough to be able to say those things and know that like they will respond in a way that won't devastate you, I think that's when you know. But it takes a minute to get there with people.
So Carlos asked this question from Miami. He said, how do you think someone can improve their emotional awareness?
So this one, I think, and this is a really practical thing. There is the emotion wheel
Oh, I
with,
never heard that.
yeah, like with the category like happy, sad,
Okay. Okay.
scared, and then they branch off into more nuanced words and then even more specific words from there. And I think having that like on your phone and just being like, you know, like days when you wake up and you're like, you don't know what you're feeling, like you're anxious and you're like, I'm anxious, I don't know why, I don't, for no reason. But it might not be anxious, it might be something, you know, more specific. And just visiting that now and again and familiarizing yourself with
Nice.
some of the words is really helpful. Like, and being able to describe to yourself, I'm feeling disgusted actually because of like this one thing that happened yesterday. Like, and then knowing where it's coming from can be kind of useful, I think. Because, you know, I have a good vocabulary, I think, but a lot of us don't. And so and there's a lot of words to describe emotions. Like there are endless words and we don't use all of them. You know, we have like the basic ones, we don't use all of the specific ones, but familiarizing yourself with those and describing it to yourself is a way to validate yourself too. And
That is dope. That's
yeah,
dope. I'm
so
gonna need you to send me a picture of
I
that.
will send it to you. Yeah. I mean, I
Yes,
only
please,
found out about this
please.
like a year
Okay.
ago. I could be better about like consulting it, but it is a thing that you can use. It's like, oh, I'm feeling this, and it's just nice to be able to like have that relationship with yourself. Like if your best friend is feeling off and you're like, what's going on with you? It's like, how often are you doing that to yourself and checking in with yourself?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Very, very important. I like that. I
That's
love
one
that
practical
actually.
tip, I think. It's helped to me.
I love it. I love it. You're gonna need to share that with me. Actually, share it with all of us. I'll post it somewhere in this video.
Yeah,
The
please, yes. And
emotional
there are
wheel.
probably many of them. The wheel, yeah, it's a fucking wheel. Um, yeah,
Alrighty.
and other than that, also practicing relaying to like the people you're close to
Yeah,
what you're really feeling. Or
definitely.
saying, I know what I'm feeling,
Yep.
but I'm feeling something. I just don't know what it is.
Feeling.
And that's
Feeling.
also valid. Like, yeah.
I remember in college one time I called my mom and I was like, I think I'm depressed. She's like, what?
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know what I'm feeling. Like, it's so weird. I don't know what I'm feeling. I think I'm depressed. You know,
Hmm.
I couldn't articulate what it was. And my mom just
Right.
hopped in the car and drove over, brought me flowers, cooked me
Oh my God, I love
food.
her.
So I'm like, maybe I was homesick. I don't know. You know, I was
Yeah.
living away from home, but yeah, you know, just pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm just feeling something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And
But
just like
I think
knowing that it's okay for
that
that.
wheel will help.
Yes. And like instead of just stuffing it under a rug, because you know, so
Yeah,
many of our days we just spend like feeling bad or not good and we don't know the word for it, but we're not feeling great and we just try to push it away so that we can be productive and we can get through our work day and get through, you know, we have social things we have to do and it's inappropriate to be
of course.
emotional in certain spaces, which it can be. Um, but yeah, just to like acknowledge to yourself underneath all of that, like this is what's really going on, I think is a way to just validate yourself and build trust with yourself. It's
Exactly.
hard to do.
So, this is one of my last questions about emotional awareness. So, what has been your most emotional moment in this musical journey? You have to name one specific moment that you were like, wow, I'm so emotional right now. It could be happy, it could be sad, whatever. Just like the most
That is,
emotional moment you think.
yeah, that is so hard to answer because, of course, like there have been so many sad moments and moments like self-doubt and self-hatred and hopelessness and fear. And I'm so open about that because those moments are all the time. Like being in this is like a roller coaster. Like something great happens and you're on top of the world and you're hopeful and
Mhm.
you're, you know, you're validated by those around you. And then you crash and burn. And then it goes like this all the time. But the one that really stands out was the day that I met you, like in the scheme of that was my first show. I sold it out. And not only did I have these incredible musicians on stage with me that programmed the show, that did this entire, live situation, but I had you guys there as well. So you, Mike, John, Dylan, and you guys flew in to see this and witness this. And it was so surreal because I was on stage with Shay and Grace and all of these amazing people that I had recruited or they had recruited and had come together for me and on my behalf of my music.
Yeah.
And looking around at just the sheer amount of individuals that like I loved and cherished that were there for me, it was so surreal because it
You
was
could
like the
feel the love.
happiest moment ever. I mean, it was literally like if nothing else, there was this moment in time where all of these incredible, incredible, talented humans believed in me. We believed in each other and we did this amazing thing. And I was like, this is how it happens. Like you suffer, you suffer, you suffer, but you start collecting people that believe in you, and it becomes a business, and you just watch it like blossom. And it was so surreal. It was like the cool. I was so proud of myself, but I was also so proud of like I was so lucky. Like I was so lucky to have you all. So that was probably the happiest moment and the most emotional moment so far.
Oh,
It's the best moment ever.
chef's gangster tear.
That was the best. It
I feel
seriously
like
was like, oh,
that day was so cool. I could just feel the love that people had for you. It was my first time meeting you in person, so it was like, wow,
not
this girl's
great.
so talented. And my boyfriend tells me all the time, he's like, you really believe in this girl? And I'm like, I really do. I really do.
Really?
So, you know, um, you could just feel the love that day, and it was so dope. I think the most, I think the moment that comes up to mind to me is I'm not gonna say where we were, but we were at a record label.
Yes.
We were at a record label and we just, walked into the room and there's like all these big guys and they all look like they're like upset at us. And
Yep.
usually I'm like, Nat is like, calls me, she's like, Kelly, I need you to be there because you helped me calm down. But this
Yeah.
time, for the first time, I was like, I need someone to calm me down because I was freaking out. I was so nervous and I don't even know why. It was just, and I've never been
'Cause it
like,
felt like a
I've
fucking
never
mafia meeting. It
it,
felt
it,
like a
it
round
felt like,
table.
yeah, it was like so intense. And I've been around so many important people before. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've been in this industry for a long time. I've never really been intimidated by someone, even by A-list artists. And the fact that for the first time I was so nervous, but I think it came from, like I said, I believe in our team so much and what we're trying to do with you. And I believe in your music that I was like, they need to love it. Like they need to, if they
Yeah.
don't love it, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna like, so I felt like it was
Right.
like I was walking in there for myself, which I was, but
Yes.
because to me it's like if Natalie fails, I fail. So I was so nervous. It was so emotional for me. And when we walked out of there, I remember I was like, all right, Natalie's shaking. She's about to cry. So I need to hold my composure. And I had to hold it in, right? Because I can't let you break down. But deep inside,
Right.
I was freaking out. I was like texting Mike on the side, like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that was like that was intense that
So
was
I think
intense as
that's
fuck.
been the most emotional thing in this journey. Of course, there's some frustrations, there's ups and downs, like you said, but for me and this adventure, that's I, the most emotional I could think of for me, right? So
Yo, no, and that's a good one though, because like that's something that people like fear is so real.
yeah,
Like fear, self-doubt, panic, like there's so much anxiety. Like I have the worst stage fright and I'm
yeah,
still working really hard to get over it. And there's so many moments I like hate myself. I'm like, why do I have stage fright? Like why? Like this is because it just feels inconvenient. It doesn't
yeah,
feel like it just feels a condition I don't want and it doesn't serve me. But I'm trying to show myself compassion and be like, that's just who you are. Like you're the type of person that gets nervous before shit like this. And it's fine and you're going to work through it.
yeah.
And I tell myself that every time I'm on stage, before I go on stage, after I get off, like, like I've made such leaps and bounds in that sphere.
Mhm.
And but the fear is very, very paralyzing. It can be
Yeah.
so completely. And I felt that too on that day. I mean, that was intense. There's so many moments where the stakes feel so high and everything is so intense. And yeah, that was a good one because that was definitely
And it
that
definitely
was
shows, again, the importance of having someone that you can lean on, right? Because
yeah.
emotions, like it sucks when you're going through it alone. Even if it's happy, like when I'm happy, I want to call someone. I want to call someone that I love and I want to share that happiness. This just happened. I'm so excited, whatever it is. But also when you're scared, when you're nervous, when whatever it is, to have someone there is so important because, you said something to me and it really touched me. And it was like, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And for me, it was vice versa because, we needed that. We need to lean on each other sometimes, lean on a coworker, on anyone, on your friends, your family, your
Right.
coworker, the person sitting next to you on a plane, like the plane, there was turbulence and I got scared
Yeah.
and I hug you. So it's a
That's
matter
real.
of not being scared, dealing with your emotions, working with your emotions. So thank you so much for sharing that and getting real and raw with us. That's amazing.
I
So with
love
that being
it. Emotions
said,
are so important.
yes, tell us, what do you have coming for us soon? I know you have some shirts coming out soon that people can.
Yes, I need to do, I have to, so many things. I have
Do you
a
have
merch
any
drop
music
coming.
coming soon? Do we have any music
Yeah,
videos? What's going on? Do you have a show coming up? Tell us.
yeah. So I have two shows coming up, one in New York and one in Atlanta, in the next few weeks, and then a merch drop, which I'm really excited about. And we spoke a bit on that earlier. I'm really pumped about that. And outside of that, yes, I have music coming before the end of the year, and not just one song, but a few. And I'm so excited to share these with you. And some of them are the quick writes that I've since developed and we've produced and taken, further down the line. So it's going to be really cool for people to hear them because they got a teaser, and a lot of people fall in love with these things, and then they're like, finish it, finish it. So I can't wait to be like, they're finished and they're out and they're,
Awesome.
enhanced and they're better than when you first heard them. So yeah, that's exciting. There's a lot going on between now and the end of the year, and I'm just working so hard to get everything done, and be vulnerable with everybody about everything that's going on, posting more and just trying to like keep up with everyone. Yeah. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much again, Nat, for your time.
Thank
You know,
you.
thank you for
Thanks,
everyone who's
Kels.
watching this, for everyone who sent in a question and
Yes.
how they feel about emotions. We acknowledge all of them, even though we couldn't share all of them, but we don't have enough time. So thank you for watching us today and for joining us, Nat. If you guys aren't following her yet, please follow her at Natalie Carr Music on Instagram,
Please
on
do.
TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. She is
All of it.
everywhere. So
Spotify.
Spotify. So I'm gonna share all of her stuff so that you guys can go ahead and follow her. And yeah, stay in tune with what she's doing. She's gonna be big, guys. She's already big. She's already big in our hearts. So
Thanks, Kels.
huge.
Shoot, yeah, message me and tell me you watch this. Message me and talk to me about emotions. I love more than anything just
She
talking
loves
to
interacting with her
people.
fans. So,
Loves it.
you know,
It's the best.
please
Yeah.
follow us. Continue to watch our journey. We're so excited for what's to come. And again, thanks, Nat. We love you. I love you. I miss you. Hopefully,
I love you and I miss you. I'm gonna see you so soon.
and yeah, keep kicking ass.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.